What's up guys, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. So Wooting sent me this keyboard. Very grateful to have Wooting as the first ever product sponsor for my channel. But as always with the content on this channel, these are my thoughts, personal opinions and experiences with the product. As always with my channel, reviews are focused on the product itself and all comparison content will be done separately. And today we have the Wooting 60HE, like finally. Now here's a quick look at the packaging because that's what you pay for too. Oh, if you didn't know, the names of the people who supported their founders campaign for the launch of this keyboard are printed all over the packaging. I think this is such a brilliant idea. Packaging of the Wooting 60HE is what I would best describe as fun, and I do enjoy it when brands get a little creative with the prints. This piece of plastic right here can be used as a dust cover, so do not throw it away. And of course you get the Wooting 60HE itself. I think this is one handsome looking keyboard. It comes with what they call a take control strap, and the material feels strong and is very well made. It includes one USB-C cable to match, and this is very well made as well and looks fantastic. 2 spare Lekker switches and 2 spare screws in case you lose any screws while modding your keyboard. In this little bag are the bits you need to install the strap to your keyboard. It includes a keycap puller and this Wooting postcard, and I think this is so well done. You can tell that whoever thought of putting this postcard with this message in the packaging really understands the essence of human communication. Installing the strap might be a little difficult if you have large hands, but even so, it's pretty straightforward. What I'm doing here is installing it the wrong way because I want to keep the screws visible on the top side. I think it adds a touch of ruggedness to the overall look. And yep, that's pretty much all that's included inside the box. Before we go any further, I'm gonna manage some expectations here real quick. Now this is a keyboard that became so popular and loved amongst gamers that it started a whole new category of gaming keyboards that even bigger brands are trying to introduce their version in their own line of products. And many people would agree that this is the new standard of high-performance gaming keyboards. In my head, this Wooting 60HE is what I would think of as the GPX Superlight of gaming keyboards, but more innovative. This Wooting was first released sometime in 2022, and this unit that we're looking at today is the original 60HE. This is not the HE Plus. This is completely stock. I want to keep my reviews as close as possible to what anyone will experience out of the box so that you know what to expect when you first get yours. From what I can see on the website, it seems that they are only selling the updated HE Plus version, which has a PCB that allows screw-in stabilizers. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. And it goes for 175, same thing as before, which is surprising because big brands would probably charge an extra 50 bucks for even the smallest tweak like this. For you guys who have been watching my content for some time now, you're probably wondering why didn't I review the 60HE until now. Well, as you already know, there are a gazillion reviews on this keyboard, and I was thinking of how I could do my content a little differently. And I don't mean by shooting different angles or fancy editing, but more in a sense of where I'm coming from with my experience with Hall effect keyboards. I want to share my thoughts from after experiencing Rapid Trigger on a variety of keyboards, Wooting alternatives, and analog optical Rapid Trigger before doing my review on the Wooting 60HE. By the way, this keyboard isn't new to me. I first used it almost 2 years ago, so you can be certain that the honeymoon period is over. These are my solid thoughts and experience with the Wooting keyboard. I do like the design of the Wooting 60HE, from the angled front end of the case to the yellow nylon strap that's included. It looks like a real gamer keyboard, not to the point where people see this like you spend 24 hours in a RGB room. It has its charm. With this wrist strap, the shape of the case and the Wooting badge up front makes it look kinda special. One look and you know that this is a Wooting, the one keyboard that destroyed the competition. The Wooting 60HE has a lot of options to mod and a big community to inspire you to try new things with this keyboard. That is, if your bank account has the balance for it. Modding can be a pretty expensive hobby, but you know, if a keyboard is something that you use every day, which I believe most people do, and if you enjoy setting it up to get the sound and feel that's perfect for you, I would say it's well worth it. Big respect for people who are into the hobby. With that said, I've been enjoying my Wooting stock as it is, and I would like to keep it that way for a little longer. Now here's a quick breakdown of the 60HE. You get double shot PBT keycaps. It comes with Wooting Lekker switches. These are linear 60s, but there are others you can find on the website. It comes with a steel plate, pour-on foam sandwich pad, EPDM foam, and that's all put together nicely in an ABS case. As you would already know by its name, the 60HE is a 60% layout, so you can expect the bare minimum on this without the F-roll and arrow keys, and no dedicated media controls as well. It might sound like I'm I'm complaining, but what I would actually like to do is suggest some workarounds if these things are stopping you from considering this keyboard. So with the lack of arrow keys, a lot of people would use the mod tab function, which allows you to double up the right shift menu and function as arrow keys. Now, for example, tapping the right shift will register as an arrow up, bottoming out the right shift will register as right shift or whatever you set it to. When it comes to media controls, I do not enjoy holding down the function key when it comes to pausing, playing or skipping my music. So what I would suggest is to look into something like this control port that allows you to control music and volume as well. Also, depending on your body size, someone of a smaller frame would have the mouse and keyboard much closer to each other, and having a 60% layout allows for more room for mouse movement. Now onto Wooting's double shot PBT keycaps. Not many people seem to like them very much, but personally these are great for gaming. I found the surface texture to give a great amount of grip compared to some other gaming keyboards I've tried. Legends are clearly visible with the backlighting on, and on top of that, the shine resistance on these are pretty excellent. Usually after 3 to 4 days of use, my keycaps need to be wiped clean, but with these keycaps, even after a week, there's no problem at all, and they do not sound too bad. Connectivity wise, this board is wired only and comes with a very aesthetic black and yellow cable. Also, just a little suggestion when it comes to high performance gaming products, make an effort to use the cable that it comes with and not plug in any random cable that's already connected to your PC. Build quality on this keyboard is acceptable. It does not feel like an expensive board, even though it is, well, 175 is pretty expensive, and that's because it has an ABS case. But on the bright side, the case is very light and extremely portable. Having an ABS case like this makes it pretty durable, so you can just throw it in your backpack if you need to. The overall weight of the keyboard comes in at just about 600 grams. Small form factor, convenient, and easy to carry around, and it has a nylon strap that you can hold it by. So the Wooting 60HE uses Hall effect magnetic switches, better known as Lekker switches. A few of the Lekker switches are unique as they are, and is part of what makes this a Wooting keyboard. I think these switches are just fine for gaming and typing, but the only downside for me is that stem wobble with these switches are pretty noticeable, but even that is not severe enough to be considered an issue in my opinion. This board, you have adjustable actuation and rapid trigger using Hall effect sensors and magnetic switches. So how does it feel for gaming? Well, it feels very fast and responsive with the right rapid trigger and actuation settings. You can set it to the most sensitive rapid trigger and lowest actuation point, but I would recommend to find a setting that you can keep up with, because having it too sensitive can really mess up your gameplay. So rapid trigger is a function that I use in all multiplayer FPS games that I play, but I must say I feel the most benefit when I play games such as Valorant or Counter-Strike. In a way, rapid trigger allows you to be so fast between movement inputs that it makes you feel almost jittery. In a way that movement doesn't feel fluid, but more snappy in my opinion. But you know, speed is the most important thing when it comes to competitive gaming, which is where the 60HE really shines. And that's probably why you'll notice a lot of esports players using this keyboard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that pro players who are using this keyboard are bound by contract. Instead, they are using it because it's a pretty great keyboard. Anyway, that's just good to know. What really matters is what you like as a gamer. For gaming, I trust Wooting in terms of reliability and performance. After all, they have a fantastic implementation of Hall effect technology with their module. Now about the software, it's pretty cool because you can use it off your web browser, which is what most people would prefer, or you can download the app onto your desktop. Oh yes, if you decide to get this keyboard, just like any other gaming product, always remember to update the firmware. Wooting has by far the nicest interface I've ever experienced with any gaming keyboard, and the software is called Wootility. Who even came up with this name? I think it's pretty fantastic. So far with my experience, nothing comes close to Wooting's software. As I've said in my other Hall effect keyboard review videos, software for a Hall effect keyboard is a huge part of the product experience. There's a lot to explore and talk about on the software settings, but I'm gonna touch on the more important things that I use, and I will let you explore the rest. There are a couple of preset profiles you can go with, or you can create your own. Also, if you like, you don't actually actually need the keyboard to try out the software, you can visit wootility.io right now, try out the demo mode and interact with the options yourself. Rapid trigger adjustability is great here and even allows variable independent settings for the up and down stroke. Of course, you got per key adjustable actuation. There's also a load of RGB settings, effects and presets you can pick from. My personal favorite is Clay. The mod tab function is what many people use on the bottom right keys to work as arrow keys. And my favorite feature is what they've done with the profile codes. It's incredibly simple. It's just like copying and pasting crosshair settings in Valorant, if you know what I mean. This is so helpful for people who are new to Hall effect keyboards because they can easily try out different profiles from people and have a rough idea of what works for them before fine-tuning the settings themselves. You know, I love how you can share profile codes with the community, and if you want to try out my settings, I'll leave my profile code in the description below. I think what you guys would love the most is that you can configure your keyboard from the web browser. Wootility feels like a breath of fresh air because generally gaming peripheral software are known to suck. On top of that, it has all the settings a gamer would find useful to tweak and find the perfect setting with rapid trigger and adjustable actuation. It really is difficult to nitpick on a software this good. When it comes to the typing experience, unless you're coming from a custom keyboard, typing here really feels fine. I've been typing on the Wooting for my recent projects and have no complaints on it. I do find it nicer to type on compared to other gaming keyboards out there, and the amount of resistance on the springs of these switches feel just about right. I don't personally enjoy light switches because I like to rest my fingers on the keys so I can preempt my actions. So comfort-wise, with the way the keyboard is angled and the height of the keycaps, typing feels pretty comfortable. However, there are no adjustable feet, so that's something to keep in mind. The sound of this keyboard honestly isn't bad at all. Again, this opinion takes gaming keyboards into consideration. You don't get that cheap plastic clacky noise in most gaming keyboards. I find it pretty decent to type on. So in conclusion, what are some things that I like about this keyboard? User profile codes is a great community feature and very helpful for people who are new to Hall effect keyboards. The RGB lighting on this keyboard is pretty amazing. A 60% layout kinda limits your canvas you have to work with, but even so, the lighting looks great. Performance on this thing is nothing short of amazing. You really gotta try it for yourself. It's very fast and very responsive. Modability options with this keyboard is incredibly good, and that's because this keyboard is so popular that a lot of brands are creating designs that are compatible with the module you find on the 60HE. Also, you can expect a lot of new magnetic switches to be available by the end of the year. So what are some things I feel can be improved? I think adjustable feet should be considered in the design. It adds another layer of comfort and flexibility to gamers. Base color options, I think they should do a white case option in ABS material, and that's because this material is very durable and resistant to scratches compared to e-white coating on aluminum cases. You know, there's really not much else to add because with this keyboard, you really get your money's worth. So some final thoughts. I think that the software is amazing. This keyboard is by far the most complete and user-friendly experience you can find with any Hall effect keyboard. So would I recommend this for someone looking for a high-performance keyboard for competitive gaming? Absolutely 100%. However, if you're a casual gamer and you don't need rapid trigger or adjustable actuation with the games that you play, you might find more than enough value in less expensive options out there. But then again, the Wooting experience is something different. And I have to say, after going through a number of gaming keyboards, there are many things I appreciate about the 60HE. And even though it's a 60% layout, I really do have a lot of fun using it. I really do. And that's not something you hear very often these days. And one last thing, the beautiful thing about Wooting, and I have a great deal of respect, is for how much they communicate with fans. And I don't mean customer support. For Wooting to produce videos just to communicate their progress and development of their products is absolutely wonderful. And even getting feedback on their Discord on different options they are considering for the design of their future keyboards makes gamers feel a part of the product. While other brands engage esports professionals for feedback, and I'm not saying that it's wrong, Wooting talks to people like you and me, and at the end of the day, gamers like you and I are the ones who buy the products and, well, make up a majority of the sales. And I have to say that I am so grateful to share my thoughts alongside other gamers to make something that we can all enjoy. Also, do check out that Discord for the latest updates on the upcoming Wooting 60HE. Pretty exciting stuff and worth considering if this 60% layout is not your cup of tea. And I'll leave a link in the description below. So yes, these are some of my thoughts and experiences with the Wooting 60HE. I'll also be doing a short video on how I personalize my keyboard, this one to be exact. What makes a Wooting is more than just being a keyboard that can do rapid trigger. If you want a Wooting, get it for the Wooting experience. Clones just don't deliver on what makes this keyboard so desirable, at least for now. Let me know in the comments below, is this your perfect keyboard or are you waiting for the 80% that they're working on? If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.